The Galactic Council chamber fell silent when Ambassador Chen finished her presentation on human military doctrine. The question came from Warlord Crixthor, a towering Drachnian whose species had conquered 40 systems under the guidance of their war deity, Bloodclaw the Eternal. Ambassador, Crixthor's voice rumbled through the translation matrix. We have studied your species' military history with great interest. Your tactics are disturbingly effective, yet our theologians notice an absence in your pantheon. Where is your god of war? Chen smiled, the expression not quite reaching her eyes. We had one once. The chamber erupted in confused chatter. The Velkari high priest leaned forward, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's lights. Had gods do not simply cease to exist? They are eternal concepts, manifestations of universal truths. Not ours, Chen replied. We killed him. The silence that followed was absolute. Even the automated systems seemed to pause in shock. Impossible, breathed Crixthor. To kill a god requires power beyond mortal comprehension. What weapon could— He was too soft, Chen interrupted. So we killed him with what we humans do best. We stopped believing. She activated the holographic display, and images of ancient Earth filled the chamber. Temples, statues, battlefields soaked in blood under the gaze of watchful deities. His name was Mars among the Romans, Ares to the Greeks, Tyr to the Norse. He had 1,000 names across 1,000 cultures, but he was the same entity, the god of war. He reveled in honorable combat, in glory, in the clash of warriors meeting on equal terms. The display shifted to medieval battlefields, knights in shining armor, codes of chivalry written in elegant script. He gave us rules, Chen continued, her voice hardening. Don't strike an unarmed opponent. Don't attack the wounded. Don't poison wells. Don't harm civilians. Honor your enemy. Fight only in daylight. Announce your presence before attack. Make war civilized. Crixthor nodded approvingly. These are the sacred laws of warfare. My people follow similar, and that's why you'll lose if you ever fight us, Chen said flatly. The warlord's ridges flared in anger, but Chen pressed on, the holographic display now showing the trenches of World War I, the firebombing of Dresden, the mushroom clouds over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We learned that honorable war is slow war, civilized war is expensive war. War with rules is war that drags on, consuming generations, producing nothing but graveyards and trauma. So we changed. The display shifted again, showing modern warfare, drone strikes, cyber attacks, chemical weapons, orbital bombardments, AI-controlled killbots. We studied war as science, not art. We removed honor from the equation and left only mathematics. Efficiency, victory. We developed weapons that strike from beyond visual range. Poisons that leave no trace. Strategies that target civilian infrastructure to break enemy morale. We made war total, absolute, and merciless. The Velkari priest's light dimmed. But your god? Surely he adapted. Chen shook her head. He tried. He raged at us from his temples. He sent omens, punishments, plagues. But gods, we discovered, only have the power their believers grant them. And we looked at our god of war, this entity who wanted warfare to be glorious, who demanded sacrifice but limited slaughter, who made conflict into a game with rules, and we realized something. She paused, letting the weight of her next words sink in. He was holding us back. He was making war survivable, sustainable, something that could go on forever. But we didn't want eternal war. We wanted victory, total, permanent, absolute victory. We wanted our enemies not just defeated but broken, their capacity for future conflict utterly destroyed. And you can't do that with honor. The hologram now displayed a graph, the declining number of wars on Earth since the advent of nuclear weapons, the establishment of mutually assured destruction, the cold calculus of game theory applied to international relations. So we killed him, not with weapons, but with indifference. We stopped praying in foxholes. We stopped asking for glory in battle. We stopped caring about honor and started caring only about winning. His temples emptied. His priests found new careers. His very concept became antiquated, a relic of a more primitive time. Chen's eyes swept the chamber, meeting the gaze of each council member in turn. And once he was gone, once we freed ourselves from his limitations, something remarkable happened. War became so horrible, so absolute, so utterly devastating that we became afraid of it. We created weapons that could end our entire species in an afternoon. We stared into that abyss, and for the first time in our history, we seriously considered not fighting. The display now showed Earth as it was today. A united government, centuries without global conflict, former enemies working together on projects that would have been unthinkable in earlier eras. We don't have a god of war anymore, Warlord Krixthor. We have something far more effective, the collective memory of what we're capable of when we remove all restraint from warfare. That memory keeps us peaceful far more effectively than any deity ever did. Krixthor was silent for a long moment. And if you go to war now, without your god to guide you? Chen's smile was cold as vacuum. Then we go to war the human way. Not for glory, not for honor, not for our god, just to win by any means necessary as quickly as possible, with overwhelming force. We learned from killing our god of war that the only thing more dangerous than a species that worships war is a species that understands it well enough to fear it. She closed the holographic display, and the chamber lights returned to normal. That's why we don't have a god of war, Warlord. We fired him for incompetence, and we've been more peaceful ever since because now we truly understand what we're capable of. The Galactic Council took 3 days to process Ambassador Chen's testimony. The final report, buried in classified files, contained a single recommendation. Under no circumstances should member species engage in military conflict with humanity. They have seen war's true face and survived the encounter. We may not be so fortunate. Krixthor himself submitted an additional note. They didn't kill their god of war for being too soft. They killed him because they surpassed him. Pray we never see what they've become in his absence.